He's stealing our water. Elena Rodriguez's scream pierced the quiet morning air. Handcuffs snapped around my wrists as she broadcast the scene live to half the neighborhood. Just 3 days earlier, I'd bought a 40-acre lake preserve in our quiet suburban township outside of Chicago, aiming to safeguard it from development. Now, here I was, treated like a criminal while 50 neighbors encircled us, their faces etched with genuine panic over losing their lifeline. Little did anyone know, including me, that what I'd really acquired was about to upend this entire community. The air was thick with tension, and as Officer Jenkins held up a hand to silence the crowd, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the tip of something much deeper, something that would force us all to question trust, power, and what it means to do the right thing in America today. The day had started innocently enough. I'd loaded my truck with surveying gear, planning to stake out the boundaries of the land I'd researched for 8 months. This wasn't some impulse buy. As a seasoned land surveyor and consultant in my mid-50s, I'd pored over environmental reports, habitat maps, and legal docs to ensure this preserve stayed pristine. But standing on that dirt road leading to my new property, I faced Elena, the HOA president who'd ruled our neighborhood association for 2 decades, acting like I'd declared war on the water supply. "Officer, you have to see this," Elena pressed on, her phone never wavering. 300 families rely on this lake for their water, and this man just snapped up the whole source. He's going to shut us down. I tried to interject, but Officer Jenkins motioned for quiet, his brow furrowed in confusion. "Ma'am, let's clarify. Mr. Davis here claims he bought a nature preserve. You're saying it's your water supply. These don't match up." Elena's pitch climbed. "It's one and the same. This lake has fed our community since 1952. We have historical rights, easements passed down. This guy's trying to rob us blind." I scanned the crowd. Folks I'd hoped to meet over backyard barbecues, not like this. Their fear was palpable. This wasn't theater for likes. They truly thought their taps would run dry. Keeping calm despite the cuffs, I nodded toward my truck's documents. Sealed impact studies, habitat notations, tools for shoreline protection, not exploitation. "Then why the federal stamp on your deed?" Elena zoomed in closer. "And that riparian rights clause?" It chilled me. I'd spotted the stamp at closing, but my lawyer dismissed it as red tape for large acreages. "The water rights language? Standard for lakefront properties," he'd said. Officer Jenkins fetched my briefcase and skimmed the deed. "Mr. Davis, this specifies all water sources, tributaries, and watershed areas in perpetuity. That's unusually ironclad." "It's to safeguard the ecosystem," I replied, but doubt crept in. Details from closing nagged me. The seller's attorney pushing certain phrases, watershed boundaries I'd chalked up to precision. Elena stepped up. "Officer, I've battled for our water rights for 20 years. Developers have tried this before, buy the land, then extort us for access. But this? Federal backing overrides our local claims." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Cut off our water? What about the kids? Where do we even drink from?" "Ma'am," the officer said, "I see no crime here. This is civil." "Then explain this," Elena countered, brandishing her own files. I dug into records after hearing about the sale. The last owner tried charging us in '95. We fought, he sold out. Now this guy shows with federal papers that trump everything. How do you get those disputes? Public records, Mr. Davis. Something you might have checked before buying what sustains hundreds. Officer Jenkins uncuffed me. "Get lawyers, both of you." As the metal fell away, I addressed the dispersing crowd. "I'll keep the water flowing while we sort this. Let's walk the site later?" "Intentions don't pay bills," Elena shot back, but softer now. "Legal rights do, and per that deed, you own our water." That's when I noticed him, a sharp-suited man at the crowd's edge, phone in hand, observing like a pro. As folks left, he approached. "Mr. Davis, Richard Harlan Brooks, water rights attorney. Mrs. Rodriguez called my office this morning. You came because of Elena?" Brooks nodded. "These federal cases are my wheelhouse. Most resolve amicably once facts align." Elena, still filming, chimed in. "Mr. Brooks, does his deed control our supply? Water laws tangled, especially federal-local overlaps. But Mr. Davis seems reasonable, focused on preservation, and you on clean water. Solutions exist." Relief washed over me. Finally, expertise without hysteria. "Would you represent me pro bono?" Brooks agreed instantly. Cases like this intrigue me, and you're doing good. Elena lowered her phone. Mr. Brooks, we've fought for decades. We won't be bullied or bought. Understood, he replied. Mr. Davis bought legally, with protections. Let's protect environment and access alike. As Elena nodded warily, optimism flickered. Maybe compromise was possible. But rereading my deed's federal stamp and perpetuity clause, I sensed deeper layers. Neighbors headed home. Officer Jenkins muttered about lawsuits. Mr. Brooks, how complex? Brooks sobered. Federal water laws archaic, from the 1890s. Ownership changes can unearth untested issues. This might get interesting. 3 days prior, in the closing office, I'd signed what felt like my career's pinnacle. As a surveyor, I'd handled acquisitions, but this 40-acre gem, with wetlands, ancient forests, and a crystal lake for migratory birds, begged preservation amid suburban sprawl. My due diligence was exhaustive. Impact assessments, soil tests, hydrological maps. Permits from Fish and Wildlife, EPA coordination. 6 figures, but worth it for my kids' inheritance. Nature, not condos. In Brooks' office post-arrest, fresh eyes on docs revealed oddities. The seller's lawyer hammered specific language. I spread papers. Thought it was precision, but look at watershed clauses. Brooks examined. Comprehensive, covers all sources. Not standard for preserves. To protect wetlands, you control inflows. But overlaying maps, boundaries engulfed neighborhoods. Federal surveys from 1890 show the township's water starts here. Community system from 52? No federal permits. Brooks pondered. Mr. Davis, previous owner? Developer held it 5 years, planned homes, but lost to environmentalists. Before, private since 90s, but 95 gap, quick flips, sealed settlement. Title insurance cleared it. But seller mentioned community water pressures. Brooks' phone rang. He excused himself. I pored over 1890s maps, precise aquifers, springs. Troubling, no 52 federal docks. If legit, easements should have existed. Brooks returned graver. Colleague researched. Your land's 1890 primary municipal source designation stands. Preempt state rules like an old key fitting modern locks. Meaning? Exclusive control over township water. Post-1890 systems need federal easements, compensation. Staggering. Communities used illegally 70 years? Complex discrepancies between federal law and local habits. This explains Elena's call. She's fretting current system's validity. I bought to preserve, not control water. Easements possible, balancing conservation and access, but with reviews, compensation. How much? Conservatively, 10 to 15 million valuation for 300 households. The figure floored me. My closing lawyer downplayed as eco-language. Brooks reviewed, should have flagged in title search. Public record. Now, request federal review, research community system. Avoid statements till then. Leaving, mind reeling. Bought habitat, got township water control worth millions, unwanted. Irony, my expertise in boundaries missed this. Driving past neighborhoods, seeing kids play, cars washed, gardens watered, all from my property. Crushing responsibility. Evening call to closing lawyer, out indefinitely. Odd. The emergency HOA meeting hit a week later. Notices blanketed the township, parking overflowed. Elena's voice boomed from windows. Our water's under siege. For 70 years, we've maintained it, paid taxes, warded developers. Now one man with federal papers holds us hostage. Inside, packed hall fell silent as I entered. Elena, glad you're here. Community deserves your intentions. I approached. Bought to preserve, no disruption meant. Intentions irrelevant with exclusive control, she retorted. A front row man, my family's here 40 years. Kids drank this water. No rights now? Elena flashed docs, federal primary source since 1890, never revoked. Our 52 system? No easements, illegal technically. Room erupted. Woman property values? Mortgages without water? Unsellable, devastation. Elena's prep was pro-level for HOA head, citations, references. Brooks arrived, relieving me. Mrs. Rodriguez, may I address? Elena, explain impacts. Brooks, complexity allows solutions, easements balancing rights. At what cost? Man asked. Pay for decades-old water? Brooks, minimize hardship, mutual benefit. His knowledge seemed prepped. Eyes flicked to Elena. Phone buzzed discreetly. Their rhythm too synced. A woman, Mr. Davis, guarantee no cutoff? Brooks interceded. No premature promises, but compatible goals. Elena, need guarantees, not whims. Understood. Easements provide certainty. How long handling these, Mr. Brooks? Long enough for traps. Dates less than trails. Post-meeting, overheard worries. Values, mortgages, suits. Susan Harper approached. Most get you meant well, but families need protection. I give my word, preserve without harm. Spotting Brooks and Elena whispering intimately, exchanging papers slyly. Too practiced. At my truck, I asked, how long known Elena? First face-to-face tonight. But doubt lingered. Their coordination screamed prior planning. That night, called federal office for review. Official, rare owners inquire till disputes. Common, systems built sans easements, preregs. Staring maps, solution seemed possible, but suspected Morgan and Elena hid more. Dr. Laura Bennett called 2 days post-meeting. Water rights historian at State University. Heard via colleagues, can help. Intrigued, historical context confuses. We met. Her office brimmed with 1800s maps, charts. Showed 1890 maps, designated primary source based on surveys, 90% township water from your boundaries. Community 52 system? Rapid post-war build, limited oversight, gray area. Similar cases resolved via easements. Your lawyer Brooks? Encountered name, outcomes vary. Prefer no comment. Explained broader law. 1890 Act prevented conflicts in developing West. Requires easements for post systems. Issues surface on sales, reading fine print. Researched yours, designation intact, exclusive control. Implications problematic for relations. But advantage, conservation intent aids balanced easements. Examples showed, balanced law, needs. Legitimate valuation fears. Easements enhance values via certainty. Introduced Tom Reynolds, retired planner, and Susan Harper, teacher, skeptical of Elena's pitch. Tom, something off. Elena's federal law savvy unusual. Susan, not all hostile, need assurance. Formed working group for solutions protecting preserve and access. Stewardship over ownership. Afternoon meshed. Tom's instinct, Susan's steadiness, Laura's precision. Not alone against panic, team pulling truth. But Laura mentioned call from Brooks querying research. Specific knowledge. How'd he know our meet? Unsettling. Called federal office. Inquiries past month. Brooks, 3 weeks pre-purchase. Research my land before I owned it. County preliminary hearing 2 weeks post-arrest. Brooks motion declaratory judgment affirming rights, barring HOA interference. Should resolve immediates. In court, packed. Elena front with board, faces from meeting, Laura's group. Judge Elizabeth Carter reviewed methodically. Mr. Brooks, deed clear, but Mrs. Rodriguez raises 70-year access. Balance. Brooks, mechanisms protect both. Client conserves, commit solutions. Paul Whitaker, Elena's lawyer community invested millions in infrastructure. Can't invalidate reliance. Judge, prima facie rights to Davis, but legitimate interests. Injunction against interference, negotiate easements. Relief, but Elena's look measuring. Brooks, hard part over, community must cooperate. Met Laura, Tom, Susan, optimistic. Easements improve all, certainty, modernize with protections. Week later, felt positive. Brooks drafted easement. Permanent access, nominal fees for maintenance/monitoring. Protects conservation. Comprehensive, fair, upgrades, minimal fees. Federal waiver? Standard, shifts to local, simplifies. Made sense, but noted for Laura. Urgent call, expedite signing. Elena filing federal challenge. Ties up months. Prevent by filing this week. Shows good faith. Pressure, Laura at conference. Signed, authorizing federal filing. Right decision, Brooks assured. Copy review, waiver extensive, transferring rights. Note for Laura, but trusted expert. Morning after, great news, agencies accepted, approval 2 weeks. Fast. Good relationships, structured right. Call from federal office 10 days post-signing. Agent Michael Ford, filing triggered review. Urgent meeting at property. Problem? Discuss in person. Ford arrived with attorney, specialist. Mr. Davis, what did you think you bought? Preserve for conservation. Actually, 1890 primary municipal designation. Exclusive township control, 300 families. Community used 70 years. Sans authorization, gray. Map. All water originates here. Control or terminate immediately. Dizzy. Never wanted this. Intent irrelevant. Concerning, your easement invalid. Can't transfer federal rights sans Congress. Value? Many millions. 15 conservative for perpetual rights. Wide Brooks structure benefiting community minimally. Exchanged looks. Unusual, typically maximize client compensation. Investigated Brooks. Represented 95 owner here. Similar. Sold below value post-invalid agreement. Pattern. Systematic invalid transfers. Suggesting illegal? Investigating regional manipulation. Your case fits. Under law, terminate access, seek back compensation. Sick, no harm families. Situation beyond yours, affects multiples. Need cooperation, comms, docs. Contact with Elena outside meetings? No. Why? Advanced knowledge pre-purchase. Alone lakeside, processed, 15 million rights, cut off power. Brooks defrauded? Elena knew early. Arrest, meetings, negotiations, orchestrated. Called Laura. Reviewed agreement, serious issues. Researched Brooks. 95 this property, similar. Suggest Elena advanced knowledge. Orchestrated from start. Conservation became dark fraud pawn. Power unwanted, unknowing use. Barely slept, imagined kids without water. But Brooks' assurances, Elena's savvy, theater manipulating signature. Confronted Brooks early, unannounced, recording. Pale, composed crack. Federal visit revealed all, 15 million. Invalid agreement, 95 roll. Quiet. Then, complicated. Explain. 95 young lawyer. Elena approached re-owner threatening cutoff. Helped, thinking protection. But invalid, owner sold cheap. Then, Elena monitored such properties. Pre-purchase, contacted me. Recording out. Truth or prison. Elena manipulated 30 years. IDs properties. Forces sales/transfers below value. 12 plus known. Why help? Blackmail post-95. Liability on me. Rage surged. Stolen millions. Complicit. Arrest staged. Elena called police. Meeting orchestrated urgency. Your appearance arranged. Every step manipulated. Community fear real. Amplified. Close to losing millions thinking generous. Camila consequence? Structures liability on attorneys. Poses advocate. Anger peaked. Elena learns power overvalued. But echoed threats she protected from. Left with confession, weight of rights, responsibility. Drove furiously past neighborhoods. Temptation overwhelming. Victims deserve consequences. Community suffer for support? But school recess kids stopped me. Innocent victims. Called Ford. If prosecute, water access? Receivership manages during, protects both. Relief, shifted to duty. Met Ford, Laura, prosecutors. Recording devastating, larger network multi-state. Charges, fraud, conspiracy, racketeering. Brooks additional ethics. 3 months later, federal court. Judge Robert Langley presided. Brooks first. Evidence 20-plus communities. 8 years prison, restitution, license revoked. Elena, abused leadership, endangered water. 4 years, restitution. Victim statement. Not money. Law for justice versus exploitation. Refuse betrayal turning me exploiter. Law protects, not enables. Post-sentencing, finalized easement with Ford. Hybrid. Own preserve. Trust manages water federally supervised. Reasonable fees. 6 months on, stood at restored 1890 marker monument. Plaque on history, protection. Lake federal watershed, permanent conservation. System transparent, protected. Susan, new trust head. Community appreciates. Power to destroy, chose protect. Susan, power sans responsibility is tyranny. Law gives rights, conscience guides use. Evening, fished with kids. Families hiked, picnicked, areas saved from development. Brooks' words, never understand opportunity thrown. Wrong, chose justice over revenge, welfare over profit, responsibility over power. The lake reserve stood preserved, the community secure in their water supply, and I had upheld the true spirit of the law, truth tempered with wisdom and compassion. What do you think about the injustices and abuses of power in everyday life, like those in this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe in fighting back with the full force of the law, or is forgiveness and compromise the better path? Take a stand and let me know your perspective.